The following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers, this is the TFangy coming to you with what will hopefully be a successful review. And continuing on with the double reviews that I've been doing, today we're going to be taking a review at what most likely will be the review that has the most numerous amount of Transformers action figures that I will have in a single review, because as the title of the video has shown, today we are going to be taking a look at not one, but both of the most recently released here in the United States. They were released exclusively at Target stores. Today we're going to be looking at the two Target store exclusive 4-packs from Transformers Legacy United, which was released last year in 2024, and the Transformers Age of the Primes Versus 4-pack, released in the current year this video is recording in 2025. So yes, every year going back to 2021, and Hasbro decided starting in the year 2021, during the time when the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom line was on the shelves of retail stores, to have a deal with Target stores where here in the United States, a 4-pack containing 4 exclusive Transformers action figures that are all repaints and retools of previously released Transformers figures will be released only at Target and be unavailable for purchase at Walmart or any other brick-and-mortar store in the United States. Now, as far as availability on the internet, of course, scalpers have put the Target store exclusive 4-packs available on websites such as Amazon, eBay. Hey, you get the idea. But here in the United States, these were officially on the shelves of just Target stores. They were not sold at Walmart. And yeah, this is how far behind I am in my reviews. You can tell in every review I've done. And for the past few years, I've had a wall of Transformers action figures sitting behind me. So yeah, I was going to release this when it first came out because I got it for my birthday last year in 2024. But I just got so far behind I couldn't get to it now, so I decided to do this 4-pack along with the other Versus 4-pack that came out for this year in 2025 for the Age of the Primes line. So yeah, this is going to be hopefully a review that doesn't last too long, since we're going to be taking a look at 8, technically 10 Transformers action figures. Here's in this double review. So originally the Target store exclusive 4-packs, they were sold in the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line. But from my review of my previous review of the two Dead Autobot exclusive 2-packs that I actually did quite recently, as you can see, I still have the box from Dead Prowl and Ironhide sitting right over my shoulder. The Buzzworthy Bumblebee line ended during the year 2023. Target decided they didn't want to continue that subline of Transformers action figures, but Hasbro and Target settled on a new agreement where the 4-packs that had originally been released under the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line, they would instead be released in the exact same line as the current year of Transformers action figures on the shelves were, and they would instead now be known as Versus packs instead of just being Buzzworthy 4-packs. So the idea is that you've got heroic Transformers characters versus villainous ones. And for the Versus 4-pack that came out last year in 2024 for the Legacy United line, they decided to go with one single Autobot, which is the Transformers Prime version of Cliffjumper. Jumper here on this side. And then there's 3 villainous Transformers. We've got Tarantulas from Beast Wars, and I believe, if I remember correctly, this is his prototype paint job. Hasbro originally wanted Tarantulas to be look like an actual tarantula, in which his body's covered with brown hair. But after realizing they already had half of the Maximals, Rat Trap, Rhinox, and Dinobot having a mostly brown paint job, they realized if they did one more, then the color schemes on the Transformers Beast Wars characters wouldn't be that interesting. And that's why Tarantulas ended up being bright purple with yellow and gold highlights in his final paint job. So this figure is based on the prototype version of him that was never released. Then one of the selling figures of the Legacy United Versus 4-pack, for me personally it's one of the selling figures, is the only Generation 1 character in this 4-pack, which is Squeezeplay. And this is the main reason I got both this and the Age of the Primes Versus 4-packs, is that a figure in each of these 4-packs acts. They're designed to interact with each other, Squeezeplay being one of them. And ironically, for this 4-pack, it's the only... Squeezeplay is the only Generation 1 character. In the other 4-pack, there's only one character that's not Generation 1, but it's not the one that's designed to interact with Squeezeplay. But anyways, long story short, the main reason I decided to review both these 2 packs together, either in a double review, is because of the characters that Squeezeplay is meant to interact with. The character from the Age of the Primes 4-pack that Squeezeplay interacts with is this guy right here. This is Generation 1 Horri-Bull. I'll go into more details when I go into this box in just a second. But Horri-Bull, along with Squeezeplay, they interact with one of the Transformers action figures that was released in the first Target 4-pack back in 2021, which was known as the Worlds Collide 4-pack, and it was this guy right here. This is Transformers Generation 1 Fangry, and he, along with Squeezeplay and Horri-Bull, they form a trio of Decepticons that in the Generation 1 line were known as the Decepticon Headmaster Juniors. The idea is that they were only half the size of the... They were released in 1988, and the Headmaster Juniors, the reason why they were given that title is because they were only half the size of the regular-sized Headmaster Transformers that were released the previous year in 1987. And so that's why they're known as Juniors, because they were a junior-sized compared to the 1987 Headmasters. And the Decepticon Headmaster Juniors, unlike the regular Decepticon Headmasters from 1987, which transformed into robotic versions of a existing animal, Weird Wolf, a wolf, Mindwipe, a vampire bat, and Skullcruncher, a crocodile, even Apeface and Snapdragon transforming into a gorilla and a T-Rex, respectively. Unlike the 1987 Headmasters, the Headmaster Juniors, instead of transforming into just one animal, they transform into robotic mashups of 2 creatures that have been joined into one monstrous creature. And one could argue that the Decepticon Headmaster Juniors were precursors to the Fusors from Transformers Beast Wars. I did a review on Fangry a couple of months ago because he was given to me as a present from a very good friend of mine, so shout out to Ultra Magnus. When I told him that I was going to buy Fangry off the internet to go with Legacy United Squeezeplay and the announcement that Horri-Bull was going to be released in the Age of the Primes 4-pack for 2025. He had a copy of Fangry. He told me he didn't have any emotional attachment to the Decepticon Headmaster Jr., so he was nice enough to hook me up with Fangry here. So once again, Ultra Megatronus, thank you so much. You are the best. Double thumbs up to you. I apologize for not doing both at the same time. But yeah, thanks to him, I was able to be hooked up with a copy of Fangry. Fangry originally did not have the 2 laser gun weapons that he's holding here. I actually found someone was selling a spare copy of the laser guns that came with the figure that he's retooled from Titans Return to Inferno on the internet, and so I was able to give Fangry a pair of laser gun weapons because he actually didn't have any handheld weapons originally, but now he's armed thanks to that. So yeah, someone out there was nice enough to have leftover laser guns from Titans Return to Inferno to give to him. But the video review is not entirely about Fangry, it's about his teammates, Squeezeplay, Horri-Bull, and the other action figures that they come packaged in. So yeah, Squeezeplay is the Generation 1 character. So technically, between these 2 versus 4-packs, you technically get 5 action figures, because for Squeezeplay and also Horri-Bull, you also get their keep pointing in the wrong way. You also get their Titan Master partners. Here on the back of the box, Squeezeplay's Headmaster / Titan Master has been given the name Locos. I don't know if that's a name that his actual Headmaster had in the Generation 1 series. I'll have to look it up on the Transformers Wikipedia to confirm. But because Squeezeplay and Horri-Bull are Headmasters, you technically get 5 Transformers figures in the Versus 4-packs from 2024 and 2025. So yeah, nice transition after the Buzzworthy line was cancelled for Target to just release the 4-pack figures in the same exact line as of the Transformers characters that they're meant to coincide with. So yeah, since it's been each individual year since 2021, there's now 5 Versus 4-packs that have been released by Target stores. First 3 were in the Buzzworthy line, Legacy United was the 4th one, and Age of the Primes was the 5th and most recent one. But last but definitely by no means least, the fourth figure in the Legacy United versus 4-pack is Tarn from the Cyberverse universe. So this is Tarn based on his appearance in the Transformers Cyberverse cartoon. And unfortunately, for fans and collectors wanting something new out of Tarn, he is just a straight-up repaint of the original Legacy Year 1 Voyager-class action figure of Tarn, which had a paint job based more off his appearance in IDW's comic books. So yeah, the only thing new for this version of Tarn is his paint job. And so some people have argued that they were going to buy the individually released IDW version of Tarn to use as the perfect Decepticons that were shown in the Transformers Cyberverse cartoon, and then have the versus 4-pack version of Tarn as actually being Tarn. But yeah, it's all personal preference. So yeah, the reason why Cliffjumper is the lone Autobot versus 1 Predacon and 2 Decepticons in the Legacy United versus 4-pack is because infamously, Cliffjumper died in the first episode of the Transformers Prime cartoon, and he was killed, and he was brought back way back to life as a zombie a few episodes later, but by the end of the 5-episode pilot of Transformers Prime, I Am Zombified Cliffjumper was destroyed, and because he made a quick end in the Transformers Prime cartoon, in recent years Cliffjumper's Hasbro has portrayed him in some stories as he's been portrayed as being the Autobot who dies all the time, similar to Kenny from South Park. So yeah, poor Prime Cliffjumper. But to acknowledge the fact that he died so quickly at the beginning of Transformers Prime, he's now the one Autobot taking off these 3 villainous Transformers. So yeah, having him being the only heroic Transformer in this 4-pack, is just a little nod to his appearance in the Transformers Prime series. Cliffjumper is a retool of Legacy Rescue-Bot Chase. Tarantulas, a repaint with a new head sculpt of Transformers Legacy Tarantulas. Squeezeplay has the most retool parts out of all 4 of the figures in this 4-pack. He is an extensive retool of Titan's Return Mind Wipe. And of course, Tarn is a straight-up repaint of Legacy Tarn. So, yeah, Tarn, he transforms from a robot to a Cybertronian tank in 27 steps. Squeezeplay being a Headmaster Jr., he's got his Headmaster partner who's been named Locos on the box. He transforms back and forth between his robot mode and his beast mode in 17 steps. And all 3 of the Decepticon Headmaster Juniors, as I said, they're mashups of 2 creatures. Squeezeplay is a mashup of a crab and a cobra. So yeah, out of all 3 of the Decepticon Headmaster Juniors, one could argue that Squeezeplay was a precursor to the Beast Wars character of Quickstrike, who, like Squeezeplay, Quickstrike's a mashup of a cobra, only instead of a crab, Quickstrike is a mashup of a cobra and a scorpion. But yeah, pretty monstrous looking beast mode that Squeezeplay has. Tarantulas is, of course, unlike Squeezeplay, who's a robotic monster, Tarantulas transforms into an actual tarantula. And then Cliffjumper transforms into a red sports car. Squeezeplay transforms in 17 steps. Tarantulas in 20 steps, and Cliffjumper in 18 steps. So yeah, that is the Legacy United Target exclusive versus 4-pack of Prime Cliffjumper versus Beast Wars Tarantulas, G1 Squeezeplay, and Cyberverse Tarn. So that's the first 4-pack of figures we will be taking a look at in this review. Next up, the second versus 4-pack we were looking at in this review, which is the one that came out during the current year. This video is recording in 2025. This is the Age of the Primes Target exclusive 4-pack, and unlike the one from Legacy United, this one has 2 heroic Transformers and 2 villainous Transformers. It's 2 Autobots versus 2 Decepticons. The 2 Autobots we have are Deluxe Class Inner Robot Ultra Magnus. Over the years, I'll try to keep this as briefly as possible. Ultra Magnus has always had a smaller robot mode that is an identical all-white version of Optimus Prime, and as a result of that, Transformers fan collectors to this day incorrectly call Ultra Magnus' inner robot white Optimus Prime. This is not Optimus Prime, it's still Ultra Magnus, it's just his inner robot. But to try and make Optimus Prime a unique body Transformer, in the Generation 1 Transformers movie that was released in 1986 when Ultra Magnus first appeared, and the subsequent 3rd and 4th seasons of the Transformers G1 cartoon show, Ultra Magnus was never shown transforming into his inner robot. Excuse me for a second. Sorry about that. Anyways, Ultra Magnus was never shown transforming into his inner robot. He always transformed into the armored up robot mode, which, if I get this box out of the way, you can see it there on the photo of his Studio Series 86 action figure right there. That's the robot mode that Hasbro wanted Ultra Magnus to be known as, because they want Optimus Prime to remain a unique body transformer. And so, for a while, Ultra Magnus, his inner robot mode was never officially recognized within Transformers fiction. It wasn't until, I believe, the pages of Dreamwave Comics in either 2001 or 2002, during a battle with the Decepticons, Ultra Magnus was damaged and he shed his outer robot armor, which is the made from his trailer, and his inner robot mode was finally acknowledged, and because of that, it opened a Pandora's box of Ultra Magnus action figures that were just all white or mostly white with blue highlights, repaints of Optimus Prime action figures. And as a result of that, throughout the decade of the 2000s, this is what a majority of Ultra Magnus action figures were. Starting in 2008 with the Transformers animated version of Ultra Magnus being a separate body type of Transformer from the animated version of Optimus Prime. More Ultra Magnus action figures started to come back that had the same transformation as Generation 1 Ultra Magnus, in which he transformed with his trailer into the armored up robot, with the his inner robot being the white lookalike of Optimus Prime being forgotten. And over the past few years, throughout the previous decade of the 2010s and the current decade of the 2020s, most action figures of Ultra Magnus have ignored the inner robot again. So to have Ultra Magnus' inner robot show up once more here for the Age of the Primes line in 2025 as a repaint of the Legacy United Deluxe Class G1 Optimus Prime action figure, that was a surprise for most Transformers fans and collectors. Some fans and collectors have been wondering if a third-party company might make an upgrade kit for Ultra Magnus that has a trailer that transforms into his outer robot armor to allow this mold to be the armored up Ultra Magnus action figure. One could only hope that that's the case. For me personally, out of the 4 figures in this 4-pack, that's what I was going to say for the previous 4-pack. Coming back here to the Legacy United 4-pack one more time, the 2 figures I was most excited to get in this 4-pack were Squeezeplay and Cliffjumper. For me, Tarn and Tarantulas were just an unwanted bonus to get Cliffjumper and Squeezeplay. It might seem redundant and ridiculous to only want to get some of the figures in these 4-packs, not all of them, but that's been the general attitude with most Transformers fans and collectors when it comes to the Target exclusive 4-packs during the last few years, is that not every one of the 4 figures in each 4-pack boxed set is one that's most fans and collectors have been excited for. There are some that they've been more excited for than others. And so for me, even though Ultra Magnus is my least favorite of the Age of the Primes versus 4-pack, I'm still happy to have him in my Transformers collection. Actually, I looked around my Transformers collection recently, and I actually do not have any inner robot Ultra Magnus action figures that are lacking a trailer and are just white lookalikes of Optimus Prime. I did buy one several years ago, but then I bought an upgrade kit trailer that allowed it to transform. And most Ultra Magnus action figures I have in my collection, apart from this one now, they do have trailers that transform into the armored up robot mode. So yeah, this one is special in that it's now the only inner robot version of Ultra Magnus that I have in my collection. Some Transformers fans and collectors use Ultra Magnus' inner robot mode to replicate the scene in the Transformers Generation 1 cartoon, The Return of Optimus Prime Part 2, in which Optimus Prime makes himself appear all gray because he coats himself in some specialized metal to stop a hate plague from destroying all life forms, and he has to get the Matrix of Leadership out of Rodimus Prime, who's been infected by the hate plague, without getting infected himself. And so most Transformers fans and collectors, even though in The Return of Optimus Prime, in that episode of the G1 cartoon, Optimus Prime was gray and Ultra Magnus here is white, a lot of Transformers fans and collectors use this as the hate plague fighting version of Optimus Prime when he was all gray. So that's another reason to enjoy this figure. That said, the other figures in this box set, the main reason I got this 4-pack, as I already said, was to get this action figure here. Horri-Bull is the third and final member of the Transformers Generation 1 Decepticon Headmaster Juniors to be released. And for those of you who've been paying attention to the review so far, yes, all 3 of the Decepticon Generation 1 Headmaster Juniors, each one of them has been released in one of the Target Store exclusive 4-packs. So from the perspective of wanting to buy the modern deluxe class-sized action figures of all three of the Transformers Generation 1 Decepticon Headmaster Juniors, Fangry, Squeezeplay, and now Horri-Bull, if you want to buy them brand new in an unopened box, you have to buy three of the four. You have to buy three of the Transformers Target exclusive Transformers 4-packs. And they've been retailing for between $70 to $85 since they came out back in 2021. So yeah, it costs a lot in order to get all three of the Decepticon Headmaster Juniors. I made the mistake of missing out on, when Fangry's box set came out, of not making any effort to go out and find it and add it to my collection, which is why I'm grateful that my friend Ultra Magnus managed to hook me up with Fangry. So when Squeezeplay and Horri-Bull were announced, I decided to get the two box sets that they came in just to have all three of the Decepticon Headmaster Juniors. But yeah, Horri-Bull is pretty great. And then the largest figure in this set, which is the only Voyager class figure in this 4-pack, just like Tarn was the only Voyager class figure in the Legacy United 4-pack, the Voyager class figure in this box set is Nemesis Prime, but unlike other versions of Nemesis Prime, this is him from the Transformers animated series, so he is a repaint of the Legacy United Voyager class animated version of Optimus Prime, but Nemesis Prime has one newly sculpted part of a new head sculpt in which he has a mouth plate. Some Transformers fan collectors are hoping that maybe Hasbro might release animated Optimus Prime with the mouth plate face that was given here to Nemesis Prime. Whether or not that happens, I don't know, but we will have to wait and see. And there's pictures of their alt modes on the box for all four characters. So Horri-Bull transforms into just like Squeezeplay and Fangry, he's a mashup of two creatures. Horri-Bull, as he lives up to his name, transforms into a mashup of both a bull, and the other creature he's a mashup of is a lizard. So that's why Horri-Bull has razor-sharp teeth and claws in his mouth and on the end of his legs, because he's a mashup of a bull and a lizard. Animated Nemesis Prime is, of course, an evil black fire truck, and Ultra Magnus is a white semi-truck. But of course, there is one of the figures in this box set that I skipped over, and that is because even though I personally was most excited to get Horri-Bull in the Age of the Primes versus 4-pack, the selling pack, along with Horri-Bull and Animated Nemesis Prime, many Transformers fans and collectors have argued the selling figure of the Age of the Primes versus 4-pack is this guy right here that I skipped over. It is Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Autobot Bumper. It's a really fast Bumper's history. Long story short, the mini-bots that were released, the mini-bot characters for the Transformers franchise, they were originally released in Takara Tomi's Microman line of Penny Racer transforming robot action figures. There were 7 of them created for the 1984 lineup, and of the 7, only 6 of them were imported by Hasbro and were meant to be turned into Transformers characters. The 7th version, which I believe was a Mazda hatchback, Hasbro decided not to release that figure. The exact reasons why are unknown to this day. There's been speculation amongst fans and collectors that it could have been to the similarity to the Volkswagen Agen Microman robot that became Bumblebee. But regardless, the 7th mini-bot that wasn't supposed to be a Transformers character, it ended up appearing in card-backed versions of Generation 1 Cliffjumper. So to put it bluntly, for the sake of time and grammar, Bumper's Generation 1 action figure was officially unnamed, and he appeared in packaging that was supposed to be meant for Generation 1 Cliffjumper. How in the world a run of Generation 1 Cliffjumper ended up appearing with Bumper's action figure inside of it is uncertain to this day. But because of the similarity to Bumblebee and the fact that he appeared in Cliffjumper's boxes, Bumper was originally named by Transformers fans as by the name of Bumblejumper, a mashup of Bumblebee and Cliffjumper's names, and over time the name Bumblejumper was shortened to Bumper. And for a long time, Hasbro refused to acknowledge that an action figure that they originally weren't supposed to sell as a Transformers character would ever be a Transformers character. It wasn't until the 21st century, I believe, when Bumper started to make cameo appearances in the Transformers comic books, and he finally was named that he started to officially appear as an official Transformers character. He didn't get any Transformers action figures until now, and that's why he is one of the selling figures of the Age of the Primes versus 4-pack, is because this is the first ever action figure of Bumper that's been released by Hasbro. And so with his with him finally having been given an action figure by Hasbro, Bumper is now an officially recognized Transformers character. And yes, he is finally officially recognized by Hasbro. And so yeah, Bumper is now an official character of the Transformers franchise. So it took close to 40 years. It actually took 41 years from the time he was accidentally sold in in Generation 1 Cliffjumper's packaging. But Bumper finally has been given an official action figure by Hasbro, so that's really nice to see. Setting this back down, one thing I didn't show off here on the top of the box for Legacy United versus 4-pack, you got faces of the 4 characters in the robot modes. Bottom of the box, it just continues the artwork of Tarn here on the top of the box. And then you've got more of the Legacy United packaging. On the sides of the box, you've got both halves of the poster image for the Legacy United line. And so that's it for that 4-pack's box. So, yeah, Bumper, he transforms into a mostly yellow with black highlight sports car. Unfortunately, the only retooled part Bumper has from the figure he's repainted from Ultra Magnus, as I showed, he's a repaint of Legacy United Deluxe Optimus Prime. Animated Nemesis Prime is, of course, a repaint of Legacy United animated version of Optimus Prime with a new head sculpt of the mouth plate. Horri-Bull, he's a retool of Titan's Return Skull Cruncher. And I actually saw photos where people bought duplicate copies of Titan's Return Skull Cruncher and made custom versions of Horri-Bull before his official action figure was released. So, because I saw some avid Transformers collectors and fans recognize the similarities between Skull Cruncher and Horri-Bull, I had a feeling that if and when Horri-Bull had an official deluxe class action figure, Hasbro was going to do the same as the collectors were doing, and sure enough, his figure is a repaint and retool of Titan's Return Skull Cruncher. Horri-Bull is a Headmaster Junior, as I said, so yeah, on the back of the box, his Headmaster's name is Kreb. I don't know if that's the name that it officially had in the G1 series. I'd have to look that up. But yeah, with just like the versus 4-pack for Legacy United with Squeezeplay's Headmaster, because Horri-Bull's a Headmaster, you technically get 5 individual Transformers action figures in this 4-pack. But yeah, Horri-Bull's a repaint and retool of Titan's Return Skull Cruncher, and Bumper is a repaint with a new head sculpt of Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. A lot of Transformers fans and collectors were wondering why in the world Hasbro went with the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee mold being used for Bumper. Some collectors have pointed out that one reason why Hasbro could have went with the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee mold for Bumper is because the Volkswagen Beetle Bug version of Bumblebee that was originally used on his War vs. Cybertron Trilogy Walmart exclusive Netflix action figure, it was repainted for the retro version of Bumblebee in the retro line. And I'll talk about that more when I get around to reviewing that action figure Bumblebee later on. But some people have pointed out, because it has more of the G1 Penny Racer design, the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee figure is much more closely resembles Bumper's original Mazda hatchback ACA Minibot action figure. Some Transformers fans and collectors were kind of hoping that maybe the front bumper section of the hood of Bumper's alt mode would have been retooled and given a more boxy design, because that's what Bumper's original G1 Minibot action figure had. It had a more boxy shape design of it, and not resculpting the hood of his vehicle mode, which becomes his robot mode feet. It just makes Bumper look like a lookalike of Bumblebee even more than his Generation 1 Minibot action figure. I'm not too bothered by it, but I have seen some Transformers fans and collectors take the version of Bumblebee that was sold in the same 4-pack as Fangry, which was the first Target store exclusive 4-pack for the Worlds Collide 4-pack. It had an action figure of Bumblebee that was repaint with a Bumblebee head sculpt of Transformers Earthrise Cliffjumper, or the same. It was the same, almost the same action figure as Generation Selects, aka Earthrise Hubcap, and some Transformers fan collectors have used that mold as Bumper because the more boxy shape of that vehicle mode, they think it's more appropriate for Bumper than the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee mold. Me, I personally don't care what Bumper looks like. I'm just thrilled to finally have an official action figure of Bumper in my Transformers collection. So, without further delay, and me having babbled on much longer than I wanted to because of wanting to get the background information of all 8 of these Transformers characters out of the way. Hey, so I don't know how well you can hear my voice. When I hold a box up in front of my face, the microphone on my computer blocks my voice out. But yeah, here's the Versus 4-pack acts from Legacy United and Age of the Primes inside their boxes. Boxes side by side together one more time. But before I do that, I almost forgot to show the sides for the box of the Age of the Primes box. So up here on the top, similar to Legacy United, you got images of the 4 characters in the 4-pack. You got Ultra Magnus and Bumper versus Nemesis Prime and Horri-Bull. Oh, on the side of the box where Horri-Bull and Nemesis Prime are packaged, you've got the same artwork on the top of the box where you've got them armed up and charged into battle, and there are their names on the box once again. Flipping around to the side of the Autobot side of the box, you've got Ultra Magnus and Bumper charging into battle as well. And they all come with the same accessory pieces and weapons that the figures they're repainted and retooled from came with, so no new weapons designed for any of them. And on the back of the box, you got your product photos for all 4 action figures. Nemesis Prime transforms back and forth between both of his modes in 25 steps. Horri-Bull transforms back and forth in 16 steps. And there's his headmaster partner, Kreb. Bumper transforms back and forth in 23 steps. And Ultra Magnus transforms back and forth between his alt mode and his robot mode in just 16 steps. So without further delay, let's get all these action figures out of their boxes and take a close look at them in their robot modes. Hi guys, so something's actually come up right now, so I'm afraid this is going to have to be a multi-part review. So part 1 I will end right now, having shown off the figures inside the boxes. Part 2 we will take them out and take a look at them in both their robot modes and alt modes. Hopefully everything will be smooth sailing from here. So yeah, for now this has been the TFan Geek with part 1 of my review of the 2 Target exclusive Versus 4-packs from 2024 and 2025 with Legacy United and Age of the Primes. So until next time, you guys, please keep a lookout. This has been part 1, in which we looked at the figures inside their boxes. Part 2, I will look at the figures, show them off in both their robot modes and alt modes. But until next time, you guys, this has been the TFan Geek, and please remember to stay safe, stay healthy, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.